Hello, I'm Harrison Ambrose, and I'm a student in Management 5113. Today, I'll be interviewing Dave Orlis, a business development manager at DAF Products. Hey, Dave, good afternoon, and thanks for your time and sharing some knowledge with us.
Of course, Harrison. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get started. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about your current management leadership position?
So, as my role as a business development manager, I'm responsible for a territory that includes distributor reps all across the Western U.S. and Canada. So, as a leader, it is my job working with these distributors and distributor reps to train their salespeople to give them the confidence to go out in the field and talk about and discuss our products with their customers, or what we call end users in this particular industry, print service providers. So I try and educate them on the product, features, advantages, benefits of the product, how to sell this product and position it opposite our competitors. Two of the biggest being 3M and Avery Dennison. How do you compete against them?
Hmm.
Along with talking to them about features, advantages, and benefits, and trying to get them confident in the product. I try and show them, right, by going out in the field with them, how to talk to the end user about the product, right, and how to position it, right. Just because somebody's using one product doesn't mean it's the best product, doesn't mean it's the right product. So I try to, work with them so that they can ask the proper questions, get the right information. So moving forward, they can go out and do it themselves. Ultimately, the goal is to help them make more money, right? Ultimately, they need to be able to answer questions. They need to make money. They need to grow their territory. So again, I go out there. I provide them with literature. I provide them with samples. I'm there for them 100% of the way. Train them up, educate them so they can go out and do it on their own. So they need
Yeah,
they need to be confident, right? So they could ask the questions. When they're not confident, they tend to stay in their little area of security. Talk about the products they're most secure with, right? So to get them specifically for new products, right, they have to feel comfortable and they have to be confident with those products, right? If they're not, they're going to shy away from it. They're not going to sell the products. So that's what I try and do as a leader. The other thing I try and do is go out there and actually help them get business by reaching out to customers, having those conversations with the end users, and bringing that through, which we call pull through business. Once you help them make a little bit of money, then all of a sudden you're their best friend.
yeah. Well, that's a really cool role. And, even though it may not be how some folks traditionally think about management, because you're managing outside of your organization, you're still doing a lot of the things that a good manager would do, right? You're helping develop those folks hard skills by teaching them about the industry, the technical knowledge of the product that they need to go out and grow the business. But then you're also teaching them soft skills about selling, interacting with the customers in that industry and feeling confident. So that's great. Um,
At the
why
end
don't
of the
you?
day, when they think about a product, they have a problem. They need a solution. You have to get it to the point where you're the guy they think about, right? Who could I go to? Who's going to help me, right? Find a solution to this product. Maybe it's a product that we have in inventory. Maybe it's developing a product and walking them through the development process as well. It's time, it takes months, but usually it's big chunks of business. Those are the external customers. Those are the external factors that you're managing. You also have
Right.
internal factors that you're managing. You have to be able to work with your customer service team. You have relationships on the outside, but you have to develop those relationships on the inside so that when you need something done, when you need a sample sent out, or you need a piece of literature sent out, you can make that call to your team, right? And they could go ahead and step in, whether it's they may need to make a phone call, they may need to send an email, something like that. But you have
Sure.
to, it's a collaborative effort. I'm just the face that's out there.
No, it's a really dynamic role, and And yeah, it's interesting to learn about the relationship piece as well as, the technical piece. And it sounds like you balance that really well. Um, yeah, so really cool role. Why don't you tell me about maybe a previous role you had or a previous experience you had that uh, you know you've built on and you can reference back to that's helping you succeed as a leader today. So what's like a skill you learned in an old position that is helping you be a great leader today?
Yeah. So, you know, over the course of my career, I've had some great leaders who, you know, they weren't just leaders, they were mentors. They didn't just wear a title of sales manager, regional sales manager, vice president, right? They were fully engaged. They would make customer calls with me.
Hmm.
Um, they would get out in the field with me. But here's the deal: these guys, the ones that were most successful, the ones that I really respected the most, they're guys that I could call today, 20 years after working with them, because we developed those kind of relationships because they didn't, they were vested in us.
Hmm.
They cared.
Right.
And here's the difference. They fought for us as business development managers, as regional managers, right? When we had an issue, our team, and they went to the vice president or they went to the ownership group, they were fighting for us. They were on our side, right? It wasn't us against management. They were on our
Hmm.
side. Okay.
Okay. Right.
And when you have someone that's on your side, right, that you could just, you know, have these conversations like you're talking to your best friend, and you can round table, right? Because they're listeners, right? And then they'll go ahead and fight for you, right? And try and help bring that solution back to you. Those are the best leaders that I've found. And so moving forward, I've tried to take that, in the roles that I have had. Um, as a product specialist many years ago for a large company, I had must have been 8 or 9 reps that reported to me on a dotted line. And the one thing that I realized is that each one had a different personality. Each one was motivated.
Okay.
Each one was motivated by something different, right? Some it was just, you know, I want to go out there and be successful and I want to be a part of the team. Some of them are like, well, how much money am I going to make by talking about this product?
Sure.
And
Right.
and you need to try and understand their situation and figure out individually what motivates them, right? I took the course that if they weren't engaged, I would go out and help them get a piece of business. And when my managers would say to me, when I'd get that piece of business, they'd say, hey, man, great job. You got that big piece of business. And I would say, no, 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 it wasn't me. It was Gary. He may not have done a thing,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, it would show up on his numbers. And then when he'd see the praise that he would get from management, he'd be like, you know what, man, there's something to be said about working with Dave. I get some props from the higher ups because
Okay.
I didn't need, I don't need someone telling me I do a good job. I know when I do a good job, right? So I try and make my team, right, whether it's the sales reps that I deal with now, right, or the guys that reported to me on the dotted line. My job is to make them look like a hero to their management. I'm there to make them feel proud of what they do. So if I could
Oh,
bring
that's
that to
great.
them, because here's the one thing as a manager, or business development manager, I never look at how much money I'm going to make. I'm never looking at my commission. I'm never looking at how am I going to hit my numbers. What I do look at is if I'm ethical and I do
Hmm.
everything correctly and I follow all the steps, everything else will take care of itself. So I'm thinking big picture, not
Right.
not little things like what's best for me. So I think the best managers are the ones that listen, are flexible, um, caring, not selfish, right? Not
Right.
pompous, not pompous because they got a title. Oh, I'm
They have
vice
humility
humility.
and you know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. The more humility you have, the more buy-in I think you're going to get from your people.
Yeah, that was one of the
I've
main
had
takeaways about buy-in from what I'm
I have
hearing.
had customers say to me regarding management. I've had them say to me, I don't like that guy. Right?
Sure.
I don't like that guy. They don't even work for me. They work with me. And here's what they'll say to me, Dave. The reason why I buy, I don't buy from the company. I'm buying from you.
Oh, okay.
This is all about relationships, trust.
Right. Well, great. I thank you very much for sharing that. That actually touched on many of my questions. So, um, let me ask one more. So in your role, it's really you have to be really strategic, right? And you have to show the rest of the business, where this product line is heading and who are we going to partner with and you're laying out the strategy and like you said, you're getting buy-in. So can you maybe tell me about how you might handle a situation where your team actually disagrees with the direction of your strategy?
Yeah. The one thing that I've learned is, how to overcome objections. Um, if somebody says to me, well, I don't like that idea. That doesn't sound good. Well, that's fine. Tell me a better way to do it. Convince me there's a better way to do it. Show me, right? Don't just talk about it. Be about it. Don't come to me and say, well, I don't think that's going to work, right? You know, as a manager, you have to be open to feedback and you have to be able to pivot, right? I think that
Yeah,
I think that's critical in every role, right? Is to get feedback from your team and try and find. We call it continuous improvement, right? We've all
right.
team out there, but are you applying it? Right? Are you willing to adapt? Or are you willing to say, well, this is the way we've always done it? Right? I hear that too often. Well, this is the way we've always done it.
Sure.
Now, one of the things that I've learned is those that have experience in being in various organizations will find, right? They did it this way. We're doing it this way. Maybe their way was better. We can adapt. We can learn from that. So getting ideas and input from folks, right? When somebody says, well, I don't think we should do it this way. All right. I had a situation not too long ago where I didn't like the way the guys were dressed.
Okay.
I didn't like the casual look. I didn't like the jeans, right? I didn't like the raggy, I didn't like guys who had tattoos, showing tattoos on their arms. And I said to them, look, you got to drop the jeans, right? You got you got to drop the tennis shoes, right? Why don't you get a pair of shoes that you could actually apply polish to, right?
Sure.
Your canvas shoes are not going to work. Well, why? Well, why? This is the only way we did it. This is the way we've always done it. Why? Because your competitors out there are looking more professional than you. Okay. So when you walk
Yeah.
in, you want to present yourself, right? As a professional, right? Not a guy who, no offense, but not a guy who just rolled off the back of a box truck,
Sure.
right? You don't want to
So
look like
I'm
a guy.
kind of getting two takeaways here, right? One is, you know, somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, maybe I have a disagreement about the strategy or direction." It's cool how your first response is to actually put a little rigor into that, but also give them an opportunity and platform to say what their plan is, right? That's when you said, "Okay, well, tell me how you would do it." And right, that can drive good discussion. And then I like what you said about just questioning the status quo, right? Oh, we've always done it this way. Well, let's put some rigor into that and see if it holds up under scrutiny, under questioning. And that's a good way, like you say, to continuously improve. So um, Dave, I really appreciate your time. I'd love to continue the conversation after we uh, press stop here, but thank you very much. And I know myself and my classmates will learn a lot from you. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Harrison. Talk
All
to
right.
you. Bye bye.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.